Everyone. Today's CellTalk will be given by Arya CR. Her topic of presentation is association between healthy eating and depression symptoms among Chinese older adults, a cross-sectional study based on the Chinese longitudinal health longevity survey. Arya is presently working as a data analyst intern at Renix Life Sciences. Currently, she is collecting the details of all the medical college across India and preparing e-prescription for teleconsultancy. She has completed her BTech in computer science from Government Engineering College, Thrissur. Before that, she has completed her diploma in computer science from Government Polytechnic College, which is in Kunnamkulam. At Trenix, she has an opportunity to gain experience in not only data research but also in time management, often working independently to meet tight deadlines.
Thank you, Soumya, for your introduction. So, good evening to all. My CellTalk title is Association Between Healthy Eating and Depression Symptoms Among Chinese Older Adults, a cross-sectional study based on the Chinese Longitudinal Healthy Longevity Survey. The title is comes under the topic of longevity, and it is taken from the journal Preventive Medicine Reports with an impact factor of 2.8, which is published in the year of 2024. This research has an impact on longevity and depression. Let's move on to the introduction. More than half of the Chinese individuals aged 65 and older experience the symptoms of depression, and it is assessed by Center for Epidemiological Studies Depression 10. In addition, most individuals who suffer depression do not receive proper treatments, and the symptom levels of depression fluctuate over time. So, it increases the risk of morbidity and suicide. This underscores the importance of mental health empowerment and support for older generation in China. In last decade, the healthy diet index and the association between the healthy diet and the depression symptoms have become a hot topic in the academic debate. In China, the healthy diet index consists of 13 foods, and these foods are negatively associated with the risk of depression symptoms in older adults. So this suggests that the better dietary habits may reduce the likelihood experience of depression symptoms in older adults in China. We also consider the gender-based analysis, and it also suggests that healthy eating habits are beneficial for reducing depression symptoms in older adults regardless of the gender. So these are the present challenges: cultural differences, complex interactions, data quality, and reporting. When come to cultural differences, the dietary habits are different for different cultures. So it is difficult to developing a universal dietary guideline for mental health improvement. Next is complex interaction. The depression symptoms are influenced by various factors like genetics, lifestyle, socio-economic factors, and physical health. So it is difficult to isolate the impact of dietary habits alone. Next is data quality. Here we use the self-reported data, so it can be unreliable due to recall bias or inaccurate reportings. It will affect the validity of the study. This is the objective. The goal of this study was to evaluate the connection between healthy eating index and depression symptoms among older adults, and it utilized the data from Chinese Longevity Health Survey. Healthy eating index is nothing. It is a scoring matrix which is used to measure the quality of the food intake instead of the quantity of the food. This is the methodology. First, we collect the data from 2018 Chinese Longitudinal Healthy Longevity Survey. Here we focus on adults aged 65 and older, and we remove the sample which answer like not able to answer, I refuse to answer, and not applicable, and missing values for key variables, that is healthy eating index and depression. And after deleting these samples, the final sample consists of 12,078 participants. As I mentioned earlier, here we use self-reported dietary habits, and it consists of 13 food, which are fruits, vegetables, meat, fish, eggs, beans, salt preserved vegetables, sugar, tea, garlic, nuts, mushroom, algae, and milk products. And the quality is assessed by the HEI score. The HEI score is ranging from 0 to 50 points. If the HEI score is higher, which means the person is more healthier. And the depression symptoms are measured using Chinese version of CST-10 scale. There is a score between 0 to 30, and it includes 10 type of questions like uh, are you bothered by things that don't usually bother you? Do you have trouble focusing on what you are doing? Likely 10 questions are there. The people answering these questions on ranging from 0 to 13. If the scoring is greater than or equal to 10, which indicates that the person is in depression. Here we use the covariates: age, gender, marital status, smoking, drinking, exercise habits, economic status, and physical health. Here we also use the regression models to calculate the odds ratio for the association between HCI and depression system. And the missing values are imputed using K nearest neighbors algorithm. This is the result. Uh, as I mentioned earlier, we used 13 food habits for this survey, and this pink shade represent the food intake in every day, and this shade represent at least once a week, and this represent at least once a month, and this represent occasionally, and this represent rarely or never. When we look on this graph, the x-axis represent the food and the y-axis represent the percentage of participants for this food intake. So here the intake of fruits, vegetables, and these mushrooms are high, and high calories food such as meat is also high. But when we look upon the sugar and tea, the intake of sugar and tea is very less. This is the graphical representation of HEI and depression. When we look onto this, at first, this is the threshold point 26. At first, till this threshold point, there is no association between depression and the healthy index. When it hits the threshold point, and when the HEI is greater than or equal to threshold point, then the depression symptoms are reduced by the increase of HEI. We also perform subgroup analysis to stratify the association between HEI and depression symptoms by age, gender, marriage, economic status, smoking, drinking, exercise habits, and physical status. So here shows the sub-analysis of gender. Here we can say that the shape of the curve is the same as mentioned in HEI and the depression. So it means that the association between the depression symptoms and HEI is the same regardless of the gender. So in this large population-based survey, we can found that a higher eating index is linked to lower risk of depression in older Chinese adults. Each standard deviation, if there is a 7.1 point increase in HEI, it will reduce the depression risk by 14%. So it suggests that the healthy dietary pattern can reduce the depression risk in this age group. These are the limitations. Here we use the cross-sectional design, so it cannot establish the causality between HEI and the depression symptoms. As I mentioned earlier, we use the self-reported dietary habits, so it can be unreliable due to the recall bias or inaccurate reports. It will affect the validity of this study. and the adjustments were made for socioeconomic and lifestyle, but unmeasured co-founders might influence the result. We also know that the body mass index is linked to the depression symptoms, but due to the missing of values and outliers, the body mass index is excluded from this survey. And the physical activity and status is measured by using the crude self report, so it can be biased or it can be inaccurate reporting. Let's move on to the conclusion. This study established a link between higher HCA levels and decreased depression symptoms in older Chinese adults. So it suggests that healthcare providers should advocate for balanced nutrition among older adults, and that initial caregivers should assess and guide their dietary habits. This research serves as a crucial reference for reducing depression risk in this demographic and emphasizing healthy eating as a primary preventive measure. And this is the impact of the research. The research highlights the link between healthy eating and reduced depression in older Chinese adults, encouraging the healthcare providers to promote balanced nutrition and guide dietary habits. It underscores healthy eating as a key prevention strategy for depression, potentially influencing dietary guidelines and mental health policies for the elderly. For that said, for any queries, you can reach me at aryack@renix.org.
Thank you for the nice talk, Arya. We do have one question which is asked by Nupur ma'am. She is asking, do they consider any comorbidity like diabetes?
No, they don't consider diabetes.
I hope that answered your question. We don't have. Okay, Vijay sir is asking, were the healthy diet well defined?
Mm, I didn't. I didn't get your question. Can you ask one more time?
He's asking, were the healthy diet well defined?
It is not well defined in this. This is a survey.
So the question. Yes. We don't have any more questions as I can see. Thank you, Arya, for your talk. Can you go to the next slide? Yes. So the next set of presentation will be of Shreya Puri. So please be ready for with the presentations. Thank you.